In the news this week, demands for immediate accommodation for WA's homeless during COVID-19 as housing trials are slammed.
Mortgage trap, the unforeseen consequences of deferring your loan as the government rolls out stimulus measures.
WA shuts its borders to slow COVID-19 as Western Australians are rushing to come home.
And on Western Perspective, we break down the details of the Small Business Assistance Package. Plus, Dr. Andrew Miller's commentary on the latest of COVID-19.
This is the Evening News with Ivan Learn and Sarah Smith.
Good evening. Advocates are demanding the McGowan government get WA's homeless people off the streets now, calling for better protection as the COVID-19 pandemic sweeps the state. Activists demanded the trial to be dropped, saying the program is not necessary as Perth's hotel remain empty. Nelson Liu has this exclusive report.
WA's homeless are the most vulnerable in the state, but with coronavirus spreading,
it's an abomination and it's reprehensible that the homeless are being left behind.
Advocates warn WA's at risk aren't being protected against COVID-19 and they're in greater danger during the pandemic.
You're actually asking, demanding, legislating that everybody self-contain themselves. We are leaving the most vulnerable on the streets.
They want them in accommodation, and the McGowan government has responded with a housing trial for 20 at-risk homeless people in a Perth hotel for 30 days. But advocates claim the trial is inadequate and want all of them off the street now because of health risks.
There's that comorbidity issue that makes them highly vulnerable to infection. If 20 to 50% of our homeless people pick it up, it'll be spread.
It's believed it can be done, with hotels experiencing a 90% vacancy rate.
There's a capacity now to get our homeless into the hotels and also to get a support worker rotated.
Currently, around 1,000 homeless people are living on the streets in Perth, with 200 in the CBD, East Perth and North Perth alone. Fremantle is home to another 100, while there's around 800 in Perth suburbs and Peel region. Doctors have backed the trial, hoping it will support people at risk.
They can't look after themselves in the same way that everyone else can with hand washing and that kind of thing. This is a terrific solution.
But they expect progress.
I don't have a problem with them trialling things in the short term as long as we can ramp it up.
And it needs to be done before it's too late.
I spoke to the manager of the hotel the other day, the Pampac. He was very excited and very pleased by the way it's progressing, but I just think it's worth watching and making sure that it works well before we expand it.
Nelson Liu, WAMN News.
For many young people suffering through mortgage stress, COVID-19 might feel like the final straw. But as banks offer mortgage deferments, financial experts warn that it may not be the lifeline it seems. Certified financial planner Elson Goh joined me earlier. Elson Goh, thanks for talking to us. Although many young people and families may be getting a break when it comes to their mortgages, this is not a get-out-of-jail-free card, is it?
That is correct. You find that a lot of banks have deferred the interest repayments, and what this means is that in most cases the interest is being capitalized. That means it would be pushed back. So at the end of the 6 months, it will either be your interest repayments would go up, or the amount of time that you have to pay back your loan, say for example if it's a 30-year loan, it would be dragged out to include an additional 6 months.
So should people consider dipping into their super to keep up on mortgage payments?
I think it's a double-edged sword, because on one hand you might think that superannuation, dipping into your super fund can help alleviate, but on the other hand you can also imagine that if we dip too much into our retirement savings, there may not be anything there when we want to retire. There's always a temptation.
So how should we be navigating these challenges?
I think for the slightly older people who are either close to retirement or who are retiring, I think they really should seek advice, because it is a complex situation. We've seen a lot of articles on how to save tax, how to use their superannuation, but this is not the time for trial and error.
So how could young people particularly cushion the blow of this prospective downturn?
I think young people should be looking at using this time wisely. They should think about upskilling themselves, should probably look at investigating some of the business ideas that they have, think about how they can contribute to this evolution of online media and online access to goods and services.
Elson Goh, thanks for talking to us this week.
Thank you for having me.
WA will be closing its borders to prevent the spread of COVID-19. The hard close will happen from midnight tonight, with the state government urging Western Australians interstate to return before the cut-off. It comes as the state introduced interstate travel restrictions this week for any movement other than work, school, freight, medical appointments, compassionate grounds or access to groceries.
In practice, the hard border closure will cause frustration for many people. It won't be a smooth transition, and it will seem messy at times. I just ask for some understanding. As I've said before, we're in a war, a kind of war we've never seen before. And it, like any war, it's at times chaotic.
WA's Arab Association has joined the battle for better protection against COVID-19, helping to produce homemade masks for Western Australians. The association is making the masks to combat unavailability and unaffordability, having made and given away around 350 masks so far. It says that free masks are a service to the community.
We have been given, we gave away about 350 so far, but our budget is very limited, so we are trying to get more material donated to us to run more face masks, especially for the seniors and people, they need one in the community.
The Ethnic Communities Council is calling for a stronger government response to incidents of coronavirus racism. Council President Shirish Rajan says that tough economic times means that people are looking for a scapegoat. Shirish says he is disappointed that Mark McGowan has not matched the strength of Victorian Premier's condemnation of racism.
I'm disappointed that we've not taken a much stronger stance against this. That is something that we needed to be on the front foot right from the start. So I was looking for something a lot stronger, and that's something that I've been chasing for about a week and a half now, asking the Premier and the Minister for Multicultural Interests to join with me in making a very strong statement, and so far we've seen nothing.
Unemployment in the United States has jumped, putting over 6 million people out of work as America struggles to contain the coronavirus. Application for the government's employment benefits have doubled, with more than 3 million people registering this week. Retail, hospitality and manufacturing industries were hit the hardest, even though Congress recently approved the Trump administration's $2.2 trillion rescue package. Meanwhile, the Democratic National Convention has been delayed until August amid fears of the coronavirus spread. This means that the nomination of Joe Biden as the Democratic presidential candidate will be pushed back, with the party saying the wait will help to create a safe and successful convention. On the other hand, the Republican Party's national convention will be held in North Carolina in late August. It's highly likely at this point that Joe Biden and Donald Trump will be going head-to-head for the presidential race.
Justin Langer is throwing his support behind a new initiative aimed at protecting Australians' mental health during COVID-19 isolation. The cricket great is joining up with Happiness Aid, a platform for online interactive mental health support. The company's CEO described the website as a way for people to get practical advice for dealing with finances, careers, health and relationships during the crisis.
Think about a live video from the people that we love and respect saying, we're here with you, and then sharing a story about their career or some advice or some wisdom about dealing with these hard times, but also focusing on really practical things that people will struggle with in isolation. So Happiness Aid is no different. It's incredible people coming together for an amazing cause, but online, live and most importantly free.
And that's our weekly news and current affairs. We have the latest news on our website and social media pages.
Until next Sunday after 8 p.m, look after yourselves, stay at home and have a pleasant evening.
Take care.